Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived an old clockmaker who was renowned for his incredible skills and inventions. He had created all kinds of marvelous clocks that told the time in unique and beautiful ways. However, his greatest invention was a clock that could pause time. It was a huge grandfather clock made of pure gold and silver, with intricate carvings of celestial bodies and mythical creatures adorning its surface. The clock's hands were tipped with precious gemstones, and its chimes echoed the music of the spheres. But the clock's most remarkable feature was a small lever hidden behind one of its dials. When pulled, it would stop time, making the clock's hands pointlessly frozen in midair and every sound around utterly silent. The old clockmaker had built this clock because he wanted to give the king a gift that would surpass any other present ever given. But when he presented the clock to the king, the monarch saw not a generous gift, but an opportunity to acquire ultimate power. In a single instant, he grabbed the clock and pulled the lever, stopping time as everyone watched in amazement. Then, with the clock in his possession, he locked the old clockmaker in his tower and took the clock to his palace, where he proudly displayed it in the throne room, believing that he now controlled the very fabric of time itself. Only the clockmaker's apprentice, a kind boy named Toby, knew how to reverse the effects of the stopped clock, and so the king ordered him brought before him. "If you want your master to live," he said, "you will use your knowledge to make me young again. I have ruled for 40 years, and my time has come. Now go and do as I command." So Toby pulled the lever, reversing time by 40 years, making the king a young man once more. But instead of feeling grateful or even just surprised, the king became angry. "I thought I had all the time in the world," he yelled at Toby, "but you have wasted some of my 40 remaining years. You must make me young again for all the time I lost, for 40 times 40 years." So Toby did as he was told, reversing time by another 1,600 years, returning the king to his original age. However, the king continued to be ungrateful, and so Toby refused to help him any further. With that, the king angrily banished him from the kingdom, hoping to rule alone forever. However, no sooner had Toby left the kingdom than he heard a terrible roar like thunder shaking the ground beneath his feet. Looking back, he saw the king's palace crumble into dust, along with everything else in the city, reduced to nothing but fine powder. Time had begun to flow again, and the entire kingdom was being erased from existence with every passing second. Toby knew that he had to fix what he had done. He looked around for something to help him and spotted a nearby windmill. As he climbed to its top, he found an old discarded wrench, which he used to smash the clock's protective glass case. Then he rushed into the throne room and pulled the lever, ending the time freeze and allowing time to flow freely once more. As the old clock chimed, signifying the restoration of time, the people of the kingdom emerged from their time-frozen state. They blinked in confusion, wondering why they had been frozen and who had saved them from their timeless prison. They looked up to see Toby standing before the broken clock, its hands now moving freely once more. The people cheered for Toby, hailing him as a hero and thanking him for saving them from an eternity of stillness. But Toby only shook his head. "It wasn't me," he said. "It was the clock." Then he explained to them about the old clockmaker and how his invention had trapped them in a timeless void. Upon hearing this, the people felt ashamed for their part in the ordeal. The king, too, realized the error of his ways and apologized to Toby for mistreating him and for his wrongful imprisonment of the old clockmaker. Together, they went to the old clockmaker's tower and freed him from his prison. The old clockmaker, overjoyed to see his apprentice and to know that his invention had ultimately done good, embraced Toby and thanked him for his bravery and kindness. After this, the king repented for his actions and ruled over his kingdom with wisdom and generosity, always remembering the importance of time and the value of treating others well. Toby, too, found a place in the king's court, not as a servant or a subject, but as a friend and advisor, always reminding the king of the valuable lessons he had learned from the old clock. Now, every year on the anniversary of the Great Freeze, the people of the kingdom hold a festival, a celebration of time, of life, and of the kind boy who had saved them from its stillest night. They tell stories of Toby's bravery and the old clockmaker's wisdom, making sure that the memory of those timeless moments is never forgotten. And so, dear listeners, remember the tale of the clock that froze. Time a reminder for us all that time is our most precious resource, that every moment counts, and that the greatest treasures are often found not in riches or power, but in the simple joys of life and the warmth of human connection. For what is life without time? A meaningless collection of moments. And what is time without life? A pointless tick-tock of the clock. As we come to the end of this timeless tale, let us all take a moment to appreciate the gift of time that we have been given, and to cherish each moment as if it were the last, for time, like sand, slips through our fingers ever so easily. So let us not waste it, but instead invest it wisely in our relationships, our passions, and our dreams. Let us also learn from the mistakes of those who came before us, like the greedy king, and strive to be better, kinder, and more generous with our time and our resources. And who knows? Perhaps one day we too will have stories of our own that will be told around hearths and whispered through generations to come. So go forth, dear listeners, and make the most of every moment. Embrace the beauty of time and the endless possibilities that each day brings. Be kind to one another, and always remember the timeless tales that have shaped us all. For in the end, it is not the length of our lives that truly matters, but the depth of our experiences, the richness of our relationships, and the positive impact we have on the world around us. So go out into the world and live your lives to the fullest. Create your own stories filled with kindness, courage, and hope. And never forget the power of a single moment to change your life forever. For as the old clockmaker once said, time is a river that flows ever forward, carrying with it the moments of our lives. It is up to us to decide whether we will swim with the current or try to swim against it. But remember, every choice we make creates a ripple effect, shaping not only our own destinies, but the destinies of those around us. So take a moment to appreciate the gift of time that you have been given. Nurture your relationships, pursue your passions, and make the most of every opportunity that comes your way. For in the tapestry of life, each moment is a thread that contributes to the beauty of the design, and it is through these moments, both big and small, that we create the masterpiece that is our existence. Thank you for listening, dear listeners, and until next time, may the timeless tales we share continue to inspire and delight you. And remember, the greatest adventures are often found just beyond the horizon of our everyday lives. So keep exploring, keep dreaming, and above all, keep believing in the magic that lies within each of us. For as the ancient proverb goes, time flies, but leaves its memory behind.